How much can a £2,472 dividend portfolio actually pay in a single month? Because let's be honest, most investing content online is either showing a six-figure portfolio or telling you to just invest more, which isn't exactly helpful if you're starting with low monthly contributions. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what my portfolio paid me in March 2026, every dividend, every gain, and where things didn't quite go to plan. We'll go through how the portfolio performed overall, what I bought and sold this month, and whether I'm actually on track to hit my long-term goal, all while investing what I can afford each month. If you're building your portfolio from scratch, or just want to see what realistic progress looks like, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Starting with how the portfolio actually performed this month. So as of the end of March 2026, the portfolio is sitting at £2,472.05. Now, March was definitely a bit of a rough one. The portfolio saw a monthly loss of 6.6%, which comes out to £177.04 down. And while that might sound a little bit painful, and yeah, it doesn't feel great to see, it's worth putting it into perspective. This actually isn't the biggest percentage drop I've had, but it is the largest drop I've seen from a value point of view. So naturally, it feels a bit more noticeable. But importantly, this is nothing to panic about. If anything, this lines up pretty closely with how markets tend to behave. The last real correction we saw was back in 2022, and historically, we tend to get one every 4 to 5 years. So this kind of movement is just part of the process when you're investing long term. Now, looking at the bigger picture, the total unrealized gain and loss on the portfolio is now sitting at minus 0.06%, which is just a £1.41 loss overall. And this is where it gets interesting, because just last month the portfolio was actually up 10.15%. So we've seen quite a swing there. But it's not purely down to market movement. A big part of that shift is also due to some positions I sold at the start of March, which I'll break down in just a moment. So, not the prettiest month on paper, but definitely one that's worth understanding rather than worrying about. So with that in mind, how does this actually stack up against the long-term goal? Right now the portfolio is sitting at £2,472.05, with an overall return of minus 0.06%, so pretty much flat in the grand scheme of things. Now if we compare that to where I expected to be at this stage, the projection was a 7.5% return, or roughly £150 and 57% in gains at this time, which would have put the portfolio value at around £2,350 and 57p. And just to quickly explain that projection, this is all based on starting with £100 and then consistently adding another £100 every single month all the way up until retirement. So it's a very simple, realistic model that reflects how a lot of beginner investors, including myself, actually invest. Now, interestingly, even though the percentage return right now is slightly negative, the portfolio value itself is actually ahead of that projection. But there is a bit of nuance here. The percentage figure has been somewhat skewed recently due to a few sales I've made, most notably the Palantir Technologies position that I sold back in November, and some more changes at the start of March. So while the percentage might look amazing right now, the overall progress in terms of value and staying consistent with contributions is still very much on track. And at this stage, that's really what matters most. So building on that, and especially with some of the movement we saw in the numbers, you might be wondering what actually changed inside the portfolio this month. And the short answer is quite a bit. The EI growth pie was actually significantly reshaped this month, both in terms of the assets I'm holding and the overall structure. Now I won't go too deep into all of this in this video, but if you do want the full breakdown, I'll link a dedicated video at the end where I go through everything in detail. But in terms of the key buys and sells, starting with what I sold, I completely exited my position in EQQQ, selling all shares for a profit of £45 and 70p, which works out to roughly an 8% return. So a nice, clean win there. I also ended up selling IAG, and this one's a bit of a funny one. Someone actually used my free fractional shares link, which meant I received 2.7 shares of IAG. But rather than holding it, I decided to sell straight away, which resulted in a very small 15 pence loss. And then moving over to what I bought, I took the money from the IAG sale and put it straight back into Ondas, adding another 1.4 shares to my position. Then, as part of the broader growth pie restructure, I added a couple of new positions. I bought 27.5 shares of iShares MSCI World Small Cap ETF, ticker WLDS, for a total of £201. And I also initiated a position in Invesco Physical Gold ETC, ticker symbol SGLN, purchasing 1.11 shares for a value of £87. So overall, this month was less about adding randomly and more about being intentional, taking profits where it made sense, cleaning up smaller positions, and relocating that capital into what I see as stronger long-term opportunities. So with those changes in place, let's zoom in on how the EI growth pie actually performed this month. Now, as a whole, the growth pie was down 7.1% in March, so definitely the main driver behind the overall portfolio dip we saw earlier. However, when you zoom out a bit, the overall performance of the growth pie is still up 1.86%. Now, that figure is slightly skewed compared to last month, mainly due to the sale of the EQQQ ETF, which obviously locked in gains and reset part of that performance. Breaking it down by individual holdings, starting with VWRL, this is still the backbone of the pie. It's currently up 4.8% overall, although it did drop 6.63% in March, so not immune to the wider market pullback. Then we've got WLDS, one of the newer additions. Right now it's down 6.54% overall, with a 7.05% drop in March. So not the best start, but pretty reflective of how small caps tend to behave during market dips. And then SGLN. This one is now sitting at minus 15.25% overall, and it also dropped 11.39% in March. So a pretty rough start there. Now, just to add, this pie did receive its usual £65 investment from the £100 deposited this month. And yeah, it's not exactly the best start for the two newer positions, but if anything, that actually works in my favour, because it gives me the chance to average down those positions with April's contributions. And that's really the mindset here. Short-term drops, long-term opportunity. So after a pretty rough month on the growth side, let's take a look at the EI income pie, which, as expected, held up a little bit better, but still felt some of that market pressure. In March, the income pie was down 4.4%, which comes to a £30.11 drop in value, so not immune to the pullback, but definitely less volatile compared to the growth pie. Looking at the bigger picture though, the overall performance is still sitting at 1.6% or £10.12 up, so still in positive territory. Breaking it down by holdings though, starting with BHYL, this remains one of the stronger performers. It's up 11.13% overall, although it did fall 5.6% in March. Then we've got JEQP, which is currently down 5.05% overall, with a 4.57 drop this month. Next is JEIP, sitting at minus 1.51% overall, with a 4.12% drop in March. Then there's IUKD, up 3.58% overall, but down a slightly steeper 8.11% this month. And finally, INFR, which is up 7.62% overall and only down 1.22% in March. So definitely one of the more stable performers in the current market. And importantly, in terms of income, the total dividends received from this pie now sits at £19. So while prices have dipped a bit this month, the income side of the portfolio is still doing exactly what it's meant to do, generating cash flow and continuing to build over time. So moving on from the EI income pie, let's take a closer look at one of the more interesting positions in the portfolio, and that's Ondas. Now, as of right now, Ondas is down 29.84% overall, which is about £39.29 down. And just in March alone, it dropped 18.75%. So definitely not the prettiest numbers on the screen, but context is really important here. I only actually started building this position on the 25th of February, so we're still very early days. At this point, it's way too soon to make any kind of real judgment on how this investment is performing. This was always intended to be a more volatile, higher risk play within the portfolio, so movements like this, especially early on, are kind of part of the deal. And the way I'm looking at it is pretty simple. I'm giving this one time. Ideally, I'm hoping this could follow a similar kind of trajectory to Palantir Technologies, where you get that initial period of volatility before a potential strong move over the next 18 to 24 months. Now, obviously, that's not guaranteed, but that's the thesis behind the position. So for now, it's less about reacting to short-term drops and more about sticking to the plan and seeing how it plays out. So from one volatile position to another, let's talk about Rigetti Computing. Now this one's actually a bit of a contrast to Ondas. Overall, Rigetti is still up 51.6%, which is about £5.15 in profit. So on paper, it's performing really well. But if we zoom in on the more recent movement, it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing. The position was down 25.09% over the last month, so a pretty significant pullback there. And again, this is very much expected with a stock like this. Rigetti sits firmly in that high risk, high reward category, similar to Ondas. So you're naturally going to see these sharp swings both up and down. The key difference here is that I got into this position earlier, so I've still got that cushion of gains, even after a big drop like this. So for me, nothing really changes. It's the same approach, accept the volatility, stay patient, and see how the long-term story develops. So after looking at some of the more volatile parts of the portfolio, let's get into the part that's a bit more rewarding, the dividends. Here's exactly who paid me in March. Starting with SMIF, which came in with 39 pence. Then IUKD paid 40 pence, followed by INFR at 47 pence. From the JP Morgan funds, JEIP paid 65 pence and JEQP was the top payer this month, coming in at £1.33. That brings the total dividend income for March 2026 to £2.78. Now this is where things start to get really interesting. If we compare that to this time last year, March 2025, where the portfolio only generated 41 pence, that's a pretty significant jump. And this is exactly what I'm aiming for with this portfolio. Gradual, consistent income growth over time. At this point in the video, I'll throw up a quick graph on screen so you can see that year-on-year comparison visually. And then what we'll do is we'll switch to another graph showing how much the portfolio has paid me each month since I started investing. And as you can see, the early months, January through March, tend to be the lower paying months, although it's worth noting that April and May are the only months yet to have had a second round of dividend payouts. Based on my projections for the year, I expect the trend of July, October and December being the best performing months to continue. So you can really see how that income fluctuates month to month, but the overall trend is moving in the right direction. And that's the key thing I'm focused on. So with dividends covered, let's move on to the best and worst performers for the month. Now, this is actually a first for the channel. From a growth perspective, not a single asset in the portfolio finished the month in positive territory. So for the first time ever, there's no best performing asset award this month. And honestly, that just reflects the kind of market we've had. It's been a broad pullback across the board, and sometimes that's just how it goes. On the flip side, there was a clear worst performer this month, and that goes to Rigetti Computing. Rigetti ended March down 25.09%, making it the biggest drop across the entire portfolio. Now again, this ties back to what I mentioned earlier. These kinds of high risk, high reward stocks are naturally going to be more volatile. So while it takes the worst spot this month, it doesn't really change the overall thesis for me. It's just part of the ride. So, not exactly the greenest month we've ever seen, but definitely an important one. If anything, this month is a good reminder that investing isn't just about the highs. You've got to be able to sit through the dips as well. And for me, it's all about staying consistent, sticking to the plan, and continuing to build the portfolio over time. Now, if you're interested in why I made those changes to the growth pie this month, I've put together a full breakdown where I go through the reasoning, the strategy, and what I'm aiming for going forward. So definitely go check that one out. And if you enjoyed this video and you're also building your portfolio from scratch, feel free to drop a like. It really helps the channel grow. And consider subscribing for more monthly updates like this. Other than that, thanks for watching, and as always, keep it simple, keep it realistic, and keep it effortless.